master receiver, which can be elsewhere in the house. So with DirecTV receivers, only the only UHF remotes that can be used are with the high definition receivers, the H21 and the HR22, and infrared remotes can only be used with the D12s and the R22s. Up to 16 lines can be mirrored to a single TV. And so, again, the basic distinction here is a mirror that where you can change the channels from the other room, and a mirror where you can't. And that, again, depends on the receiver. Okay, the next special feature from DirecTV is picture-in-picture, and what you see here is just a screenshot of what that looks like. It means that you're watching basically two channels simultaneously. For that, you have to have a dual tuner receiver, and again, the two types of receivers with, from DirecTV that have two tuners inside are both the DVRs, the R22 and the HR22. And then finally, pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is a service that DirecTV has where you can basically order special programming. It might be a movie that was just out in the theaters. It might be a boxing match, something like that. To order pay-per-view, you have to have a phone line. I'm sure that, and also you can order pay-per-view over the internet now if you have the right receiver to connect to the internet. All right, moving on to satellite accessories. Real quickly, just coaxial cable. The cabling for a satellite TV system sending an all-digital signal to a TV is what's called coaxial cable. It's RG6 cable. DirecTV uses switches to get the signal to various TVs. That's what a switch looks like. An IR or infrared remote. These are the most common remotes used by DirecTV. This is a picture of what it looks like. And UHF remote, as we just discussed, is used as a special order remote used for mirroring TVs. All right, a PhoneX Easy Jack. This is a wireless phone jack in case we want to get a phone line to a receiver in a place where there is no phone jack. We can hook up a wireless phone jack, which basically is a wireless signal from an actual phone jack elsewhere in the house. And then finally, an external hard drive can be used to increase the storage capacity of the DVRs. So by a USB connection to the R22 or the HR22, we can increase its storage capacity for recording programming. All right, moving along, we've covered the satellite itself, satellite dish, receivers, and special features and satellite accessories relating to the receivers. And now finally let's discuss the installation part of the satellite TV system. What the customer gets with their order is something called a standard professional installation, which is performed according to DirecTV guidelines. These are a few slides of DirecTV technicians on roofs. And then we go to the next slide, and let's discuss what the technician does as part of that installation. In general, the technician visits the new customer's home, carrying the satellite TV system to be installed. He or she mounts the dish on the exterior of the residence, usually the eave of the roof, sometimes on a pole mount in the yard, runs cabling from the dish to the receiver or receivers, activates the service, performs customer education on the use of the new system, and completes paperwork with customer. All right, moving on. Those are the items that are covered by a professional standard professional installation. It's also important to know what is not covered by a standard installation, because those items must be charged to the customer, or somebody has to pay for it. So it's important to know, be able to inform the customer up front about what those items will cost. All right. In the first instance, an OTA or over-the-air antenna may be something that the customer wants to get. There will be a charge for that. Secondly, a TV mirror, which we just discussed, is something that also must be charged for. A modest fee, but the technician has to run a second line. This is just a picture of a splitter, and there's an additional splitter involved as well. Phone jacks. To put in a phone jack, there is a charge for that, and that's all of the charges on this are on your in your training guide and on your order form, which we'll be discussing later as well. A second dish. Some people want second dishes, say to use with an RV. That second dish has to be specially ordered, and the customer has to pay for that. A pull mount. If a pull mount is necessary, the dish cannot be attached to the roof or the side of the house, whatever. Then if we have to put a pull mount in, then there has to be a charge for that. Pull mounts are a lot of work, actually. A hole has to be dug out, cement poured, the pole put in cement, and then the dish mounted on the pole. So it's a pretty big production. Additionally, a wall fish, and you see a diagram of what a wall fish looks like. It can be a pretty involved project. There's special labor involved, so we have to charge the customer some amount in addition to what they're paying, if anything. Tripod. A tripod may be necessary. The customer may want it to put that second dish on to go with to use with an RV, or they may have, say, an apartment. If the dish is going to be put on the deck and there's a southwest line of sight, then rather than drill any holes or zip tie it to the rail on the deck, we may put up a tripod, but that tripod has to be paid for by the customer. And that's everything for Section 3, Satellite TV Systems. Please proceed on to Section 4, Direct TV Promotions.